India is one of the fastest growing countries economically and is among the favorites of the big companies like Google, Amazon, and Apple to hire talented people. As India is emerging in the tech sector, we forget to see the other part of the story, that the countries are not built on the basis of the tech, but on the other sectors like power, coal, energy sector. And controlling all of these sectors means you are running the whole country. While we all are busy to see how the tech and unicorn startups were emerging in India, we forget to see the bigger picture, that all of the energy sector of power, coal, ports, and media are now all owned by one person only, and his name is Gautam Adani. What we see on the surface is the second richest person in the world, but what we really need to see is how Gautam Adani became the man who owns the country India today. Before we start our video, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of our videos. Let's get started. A help from a friend. We live in a world where if you really want to accumulate wealth, you need to have a help. Billionaires can help you, but limited to the aspect of their knowledge. Companies can also acquire their competition in order to create a monopoly and thus accumulate more wealth. But nothing comes more powerful than if you have a politician at your side, especially if it's the Prime Minister or the President of the country. Why? Because politicians can bring the rules and changes to the constitution and amendments and give you exclusive rights so that your company can emerge as the market maker. This is where the critics argue that the Gautam Adani rising wealth has a lot to do with his friendship with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as Prime Minister had helped Adani in getting several government contracts. Back in 2019, Adani won the contracts to run the airport of the 6 major cities like Jaipur, Lucknow, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, and Trivandrum, despite having a zero experience in the aviation business. And now Adani Group is the leading airport operator in India. This was exactly what happened in Russia too. The rise of the oligarchs who became rich overnight after the end of the former Soviet Union just by having the close connection and favors from the ruling party of Russia. That is why 10% of the wealthiest of our country holds 77% of the India's wealth in 2021. The pie of accumulating more wealth is growing rapidly, but on the same side, inequality of the wealth is growing drastically. Dear Debt. Gautam Adani does not want to hold back up to the airports. He wants to expand in other sectors too. That's why Adani bought ACC and Ambuja Cement for $10.5 billion and becoming the second largest manufacturer for the cement in India. Adani also bought the DB power plant for $70 billion. Adani is surely acquiring big companies and contracts, but there's also something that he is acquiring too, which is called debt. But why? Because all of these major buyouts didn't come from the Adani's own pocket, but rather in the form of a combined debt of 2.2 lakh crore rupees. The goal is not to control one sector, but to control all the sectors on which the nations are made. Everyone in the nation needs a cement, from housing constructions to the roads and highways infrastructure. And not only that, these businesses heavily rely on the cost of the operation. In order to expand and dominate in a particular sector, Adani raised the money by borrowing from the banks at alarming level. Because he knew if he ever get defaulted from these loans, the government will bail out Adani. But all of the losses will be bared by a common people in the form of rise in tax. How to use your family. When you are a company owner, you are rarely on the papers as your shares are tied to it. So what do you do to have that sweet cash back in your pockets without even selling your taxable shares? By creating something called shell companies. Shell companies are the companies that you own but are not directly owned by you. And on the top of that, these shell companies are created in the countries which offer 0% tax benefits. Some example of these countries which offer these benefits are Mauritius and Cayman Islands, and that's what the Adani did. He created these shell companies and started doing business by making sure all of the profits goes from the shell companies instead of the Adani Group. This helped him to save a huge amount of taxes. As with the report, 12 out of 26 Adani subsidiary companies were registered in the Cayman Islands as a shell companies. By the media. What we see is what we perceive, and half of the population consumes news every single day. So what we need to understand here is what we are going to show to the public. The public will believe in you in that particular information. That is why public image is very much important, especially in a country like India. But there was one news channel in India which never supported or portrayed Adani in a good way, and that channel is NDTV. But a few months back, something shocking happened. Adani bought NDTV without letting NDTV know it. But how all of this happened? Adani saw VCPL as the 29% majority shareholder of the NDTV. Adani saw this opportunity and bought all of the remaining VCPL holdings of the company and indirectly became the owner of the NDTV, making sure that in the future too, Gautam Adani has the best image in the front of the Indian public. These all four factors made Gautam Adani the second richest man in the whole world, with the net worth which started as $9 billion in 2019 to all the way to the $131 billion. And all of this happened in just 2 years, and that's why Gautam Adani is running the nation, India. I hope you get the insightful information from this video. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.